Okay, so in this video, I'm going to show you how to make handles in a specific way. I haven't even seen people make handles like this on the internet. So I wedged this clay. I'm going to take a piece of clay off of the wedged part, about the size of a large lemon, and just kind of roll it into a cylinder. And I'm going to toss it away from me. And it's going to become flat, and I'm going to keep on flipping it on each side. Notice that as I toss it away from me, it's growing. It's elongating. So we have a magic number for thickness of clay in our class. Who remembers what it is? Little less. A fourth of an inch, that's right. Or what can we compare it to? The thickness of a, man, I have a chatty class. Pencil, yes. You guys, this video is not gonna go viral, so you can talk when I ask you a question. It's cool.
Oh boy, I'm
Okay, so we got a very long piece of clay. This is gonna work for the slab. So there's a couple of reasons why we did it that way. Number one, it's flatter and it grows. And then I have enough clay to probably do a couple just in case I mess up. I always want to make more than one. Also, I got some tools here. Sorry, I was checking my time. Some of them you already have, like the fork. You should have a knife, the sponge, a container. I've moistened the sponge. And that's the next thing we're gonna do. It's a little dry. Let me wet it a little bit. So the thing about slab handles that start as a coil, they need to be compressed. And compressing causes the slab to be flexible when you go bend it into the shape of a handle. So I'm gonna do the other side now. This sponge is moist, and I'm simply running the sponge with some pressure, not a lot, down the length of a handle. You may say, well, that handle is not very straight, Mr. Drennan. That's okay. You can trim it. So that's why I have the knife here for, and that's exactly what I'm going to do right now. So I'm going to take the knife, and I like to hold it like a pencil, and I'm going to cut about 4 or 5 inches off. That's a good size piece of slab for a handle. And now I'm going to trim it. I don't want this thickness. It's a little too thick for me. Notice I took off the piece that I didn't want. I didn't touch the handle. That's really good. Now let's apply some texture. I got several tools. Like, I don't know, the other day I was showing you guys, I got these neat rollers made out of wood. They cause some really cool texture. So I'm gonna do 2 textures, but I do have other things that can make a texture, like this screen, like this mat with a scale texture. But really, anything that you press onto the clay right now can make a texture. So this one's easy. This one you just roll. And if the clay is too wet, it will stick. If the clay is too dry, then you can't flex it later. So let's do the other side. See what this one does. Oh, that's really cool. And the leaves are still preserved, so I guess I could do either one. I like my edges to not be so sharp, so I should have probably cleaned off the edges a little bit so they're not having so much of an angle. But it's now time to curl it into a handle. So gonna gently curl it to what I'd like to have, and this side would be in contact with the vessel and this side too. And what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna create a real stylized end. I'm gently, slowly curling it. And then what I would do is I have a board already specifically here for carrying handles. So I would take it to my drying spot and then let it kind of get leather hard, not quite maybe leather hard, but definitely a little stiffer. So when I go hang it on my vessel, then it won't like slump. So I'm gonna leave it alone here for a minute. I'm gonna create another handle. And again, so you recall, you trim it. If the knife is starting to stick to the clay, that means you need to wet it. Pull away the trim piece. And now I'm gonna get a little creative. Let's say I wanted to do a little bit something else, something a little bit more different at the end. Well, I could do some score and slip. The other class didn't get this bonus, so I guess you get bonus. So let's say I scored and slipped that. I don't have time right now, but let's pretend it's scored and slipped together. Gonna knock off the edges. I'm gonna use my fish scale print mat. Ooh, stuck a little bit. Probably need to use less moisture when I do that. Gonna keep it anyway. You can kind of see the texture. And now I'm gonna use the fork. So if you like mermaids or fish, it's a good option. So that's a cool little handle. Nice pattern. Now, this is to be practiced. If you don't practice this, it won't go well. The first handle that you do will probably look horrible. Probably the second and the third one will too. I'm gonna take this one. It's dried a little bit, not a lot, but I'm gonna pretend I place it on a cup. So you get to see what it kind of looks like. This one's kind of a sloppy handle. Somebody didn't take the time to do it right. So, and score, slip, press it on, and you're on. It's ready to go. Okay. Thank you for watching.